All right, all right, all right. Welcome to another episode of Agents Influence Conversations with Jason Cass. I am back here with my friend, Mr. Chris Lane of Tarmika. You guys probably don't hear him. What are you, the director of marketing, or you're the chief marketing officer, aren't you?
No, I'm the director of sales.
Director of sales.
Director of sales.
Probably back at the beginning when it was just you and Rags, you probably were the chief marketing officer, director of sales, head of finance. You know how it was, and that's probably what I was originally thinking of. I mean, you've been there with Rags since the beginning, right?
Yeah, I was the first hire, June of 2019. So coming up on 3 years. It's amazing. It's amazing how quickly, almost 3 years have gone by. But to your point, when it was, Raghav and I, it was us doing the marketing, and we were making some real nice Microsoft Word clip art promotional items, right. And that's how we were getting our name out until we were fortunate to hire Alex Eisenhardt, our marketing specialist, and we sent her over a one pager of what we do. And she sent it back to us in a PDF format with graphics and formatted, and we're like, she's hired. This is awesome. Great first impression.
It really truly is. It really truly is. And that's really good. So, and that's some of the stuff I want to talk about here with you, has to do with Tarmika. A lot of explosion coming out of the gate. I love what you said earlier before we started Loyal Listeners. He said that's okay. That's what Tarmika was built on, was transparency. I absolutely love that. That's something today the leading businesses understand that at a conscious or a subconscious level. Sometimes people don't understand the importance of transparency, but if you have a good business, it's usually based off that, especially in today's world. Society wants to know what's going on. Your industry wants to know what's making your business. Your customers want to know how you're giving back. Your employees want to know how they more important to you than just some person who's a developer of your program. So that's good stuff. I loved when you said that a little bit ago, Chris.
Yeah.
Chris, a lot of people don't know you, so we're going to start with the top. iPhone, are you a Droid user?
iPhone. So I was on the Android side for a while. The company I used to work at, we were Android. And then 2020, I switched over to the iPhone. I got sick of typing in, quotation mark, like the message, quotation mark. I didn't understand what was going on. Everybody with an iPhone was, thumbing the picture. I like it, and I'm sitting there typing it. I'm like, I gotta switch out of this. It's taking too much time.
I will admit here, this is good topic of conversation. Come on, Droid world, and I'm a Droid guy, right? This is the thing, but come on, allow us to I can't even Droid texts and stuff. And all my buddies, because they have iPhones, they're coming through liking things, and I'm like, it's leaving me out. Come on, yeah. Droid, it's developers, get on that shit. My God.
Yeah, when I found myself typing in like the message, it had to change.
No, can't do it. Ain't no one got time for that shit. No one got time for that. I barely got time to hit the like button. So Chris, do you love to win, or do you love to win, or you hate to lose?
I love to win. Love to win.
Truth, you're all over it.
Yeah, no, growing up, I was always involved in sports, and you just develop that. You want to win. You want to win personally. As a team. And I coach baseball now. I coach my son's little league team. He's 11. It's going to be 11. And same thing. You want the kids to have fun, but it's more fun when you're winning. So I've kind of always taken that approach, but definitely a winner.
Few things in the world can people understand other than maybe being a business owner, parenting, right?
Yep.
Or being a little league coach of any type whatsoever. It doesn't mean our baseball, basketball, whatever. Yep. The shit you hear from parents and the audacity of the things. And I was probably one of those parents, but I was always the coach, so I was never that person. But you can always tell the person if it's their first kid or if it's their third kid, right? And I'm not talking about them being worried about safety. It seems like the parent that has the third kid's more realistic into the abilities what their kids probably has. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I've been super fortunate. This is the second year coaching in the major level. I coached a level down 2019, but I've been extremely fortunate to have great parents. Very supportive, very encouraging. I mean, I get a little hot under the collar sometimes, but I can keep it in check. Luckily I have my wife, in the stands looking at me and giving me the look in case I maybe said something a little too loud. So I stay in check.
Giving us the look. Giving us the look. I know what you're talking about there, man. Yeah. All right, going back, getting out of that. Whew, we got a little lost there in some of those things. Some of the funnest times, though. I mean, seriously, I was just talking about this with my buddy 3 nights ago. That's why it's fresh in my head. And, I mean, some of the funnest times I ever had was coaching. I did all 3 sports, and I did it for both of my boys. But I'm so over that shit. I mean, I'm so over that, Chris. I mean, I did it for like 15 years, and I was in it, right? I was the parent who put all together all the tournaments, and I mean, you can only imagine, right? When I take something over, I'm gonna do it. Yeah. And so, but dude, I am so over that now. I mean, my buddies now because I'm 44. A lot of my friends have kids who are like 10 and 11. My wife and I started early. And so I'm just like, God, when I see them on Friday night and they've got those baseball games, I'm like, hey, I'll see you later, buddy. I'm going to be up there watching that live music up at the cabin, anyway.
Yeah, no, it's funny though. Like I still, I mean, I'm living through my son, so like when I played, so I'm 40, so, not that far behind, but, we had like regular cleats, a regular bat, a regular glove, and now like seeing all the stuff that's coming out, like the custom gloves, all of this stuff that I wish I had when I played. I found something like, oh, this looks good. It's on sale. I'll buy it for him. Just I don't know. My wife donated socks from her business to our team, so we're the Braves, and we have the navy blue tops with the Braves, and my wife's company donated the socks, so they're the red and white and the blue striped. They look awesome. So it's one thing for the kids. They look good, and I love that stuff.
Yeah, I do too, man. I do. It's fun. It's fun. Talk to me in 10 years, Chris. All right. So anyways, man, so the, let's see, what's the other one, loyal listeners? It is 2 things in the world that got us to where you are today. We believe, just us. 1 and 2, luck or skill. Which one do you think has been a bigger factor in your life to get you where you are today?
So this is kind of a cop-out if I say both.
Everybody, well, a couple people do say that.
Yeah, I mean, there's, the skill part of it. When I got out of college, like many, you don't know where you want to go, what you want to do. I had a sports management degree, and the dream was to work for a baseball team. I mean, baseball is my first love. So I was thinking, work for a minor league team, somewhere in New England, kind of like grind it out that way, or, go some completely other path. I loved cooking at the time, still do.
Cool.
And there just happened to be an opportunity at a local insurance company. It was a GE affiliate. And so I started off customer, service there. It was customer service at the time. I think everything's transitioned to customer success now. And that kind of, built up the knowledge base and the skill set, through the course of, 15 years at that point. That's when the luck came into play. So I used my skill set from 2005 up to 2019 in a bunch of different roles. And then it just happened, kind of some luck, as luck would have it. A friend of mine reached out and was like, hey, have you heard about Tarmika? And I was like, yeah, I've heard some rumblings about him. And that's when I got introduced to Raghav. And that's kind of where the luck came in, so I was able to use my skill set, but then, luckily our paths crossed and, here we are 3 years later.
You ain't never heard of no damn Tarmika when they asked you. No one heard of that dumbass name. Back then, everybody was like, what the hell is this name? Now it's just like Tarmika, right? Now it's just normal. You remember back at the beginning, Chris, I was like, what in the world? And isn't it funny how now it's just a normal word? Now it's like Tarmika, it's,
Yeah.
love it, love it, love it, love it, love it, love it.
Yeah. No, it's,
I didn't know you were in insurance before this. I didn't know that.
yeah. Yeah. So 2005, spent 5 years at that company, kind of working from, customer service, dealing nationwide, clients across the country, a lot of, General Electric retirees and going through, their policy documents with them and things like that. And then I transitioned over to the agency side within that company. And we were, small in the agency front, maybe 10 states total. And that's when I got my feet wet in the marketing rep role and got exposed pretty quickly to, how different states operate, the agency distribution, across different states, and how Colorado was different from Missouri to New Jersey, and really started to dig into, what are the differences? So, New Jersey PIP laws versus, no fault states, things like that. So that's when I really got, ingrained in insurance, the agency front, and then, how to promote the product. We're selling uncapped guaranteed replacement homeowners policy, who isn't selling that? So really starting to really push that forward. And then I went on the agency side for 2 years. I felt like if I wanted to be a successful marketing rep, business development rep, I needed to sit, in the agency seat and learn kind of what the agencies really go through on a day-to-day basis. I found that I needed to be on the road. I needed to be visiting agents more so. And I got a great opportunity to get my, the foot back in the door. I had Northern New Hampshire as my territory, had a great boss, and taught me a lot about just insurance, about selling, about life, which was awesome. But it was, an hour and a half to my first appointment every day. Some days I was up on the Canadian border, so I put a lot of miles on the car. And then my most recent company before I came to Tarmika was the territory just in my backyard. So I was never more than 35 minutes from home.
Oh, wow.
It was a great company to work for. And again, I've been, really fortunate to have, phenomenal managers along the way. Kind of every stop I've had, over the last, 16, 17 years, I've always been with a great manager, great boss that I could just be a sponge and learn from. They all had different traits, and it's kind of what, helped mold this, what we're doing here at Tarmika. I've taken little pieces of, just knowledge from them and have tried to apply it here. And I think we've done a pretty good job of me translating it, kind of playing telephone from what I've learned over time to where we are today. So it's, part of what I've done has been, attributed to, the folks I've worked for in the past.
Chris, what number employee were you there at Tarmika?
I was number one.
That's what I thought. What I thought. I was thinking maybe two, because there was a woman involved, right? Did she come right after you? I can't remember who she is.
Yeah, so Raghav and Geetha are the co-founders. So Raghav kind of conceptualized the whole process. Geetha had the technology connections through some of her current workings. So she, Raghav and Geetha were the co-founders, and
Gotcha.
Then I was the first hire.
How big are you guys now?
So currently we have 13 employees in-house here in Woburn, and then we have about 30 offshore in our development team. So we're about 43 total employees.
Okay, and Chris,
actively hiring too. So just throw that out there. We're actively hiring.
Yes. Okay. Good. Yep. Use it as much as you can, man. Get it out there, especially in today's world. You got to let everybody know Tarmika is hiring. Good place to work, full of transparency. Hey, Chris, one of the things I want to ask you when it comes to when it comes to being classified as an insurtech, for all those not watching us on YouTube, I'm throwing up the rabbit ears there. have you guys went out for funding as far as seed funding? Are you guys in any of your series? How are you guys making it? I know you hear all these insurtechs out there right now, 8 million, 10 million, 30 million. Just curious, like what are you guys looking at right now?
Yeah, no, so we started off bootstrapped. We did a small private raise right before COVID. I think we closed it in
I remember that
end of March of 2020, and that's all we've done. That's really all we've done. So yeah, no kidding. Yeah, so that's it. And it's
so just strictly. I mean, good. Look at you guys actually doing what we do, right? You build a product as you build revenue, and you build marketing to build revenue in the product. Look at you. Not saying that you won't go out for funding one day, but I'm just saying it's impressive. Here you are 2 years into it. And you guys are growing. I mean, look at your guys' staff has to do with it. So good for you on that. It's awesome.
Yeah, no, it's but Raghav is phenomenal when it comes to and Geetha managing the finances and not going out over our skis, so to speak. Mm-hmm. But no, like we finished that small private raise we did, and that helped us advance our data analytics. So one thing that we always wanted was, or if you look at the current, comparative rater marketplace for personal lines, there's a data component of it. How many carriers are being submitted to, what are the rates, all that stuff. We wanted to take it a little bit of a step further and not just have, quote numbers and who quoted it, all that stuff. So we got a little bit deeper into that where we're looking at, your quote starts, so your individual businesses that are being quoted, how many carriers got a chance at that quote? What's your average premium over the last 30 days? And then we broke it down even deeper and, what are the class codes that your agency's quoting? So is it all, lesser's risks? Is it restaurants? Is it electrical contractors? So we're tracking that now too, where you can dig in a little bit deeper and see which carriers it went to. Percentage of time that a carrier was, in appetite, but not selected by the agent. Or on the flip side, how many times that carrier could have been selected, but they weren't in appetite. So where's the gap? So we call it the classification support gap there. And then for some of our larger...
both ways. And Chris, real quick, that information benefits both ways, right? The carrier and the agent, because they both want to know that information, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And then, for some of our larger relationships, I mean, any agent can have access to this. But, when you have a location that has, cross state lines, they're writing in different states. Do you want to click on, Texas? What are we doing in Texas? So you can dig down and get a little more granular on the dashboard, which it's all, great information. I mean, having the data at your fingertips, is awesome, because now when it comes time for, October, November, you're doing your year planning, for the next year with your carrier partners, you're armed with some data that maybe they can't provide you with. So it's a helpful tool all the way around.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a great thing. And how many states are you guys doing business in? I mean, basically the states that the carriers are doing business in, or what? Yeah.
So wherever a carrier can write, as long as that agency has an appointment, you can, quote business there. I think at last check, we're in 44 states. So we have agencies using our platform in 44 states, and maybe 45. But that's growing. I mean, I think we just got our first Idaho agent, not too long ago. So it's always great, to look at the map and be like, yes, let's pick off another state until we get, the continental 48. We have had a demo. We've had a few demos for a Hawaiian agency, which is pretty cool.
That would be cool.
Carrier mix isn't there yet.
Well, Kristen, you're going to have to do a face-to-face on that first meeting. Gotta fly there, make sure it's a legitimate facility. I get you. You call me. I'm good at inspecting. My wife and I can come. She's unbelievable at inspecting buildings to make sure they're legitimate.
Do a nice little site
anyway. Okay. So I know before some of the things that a lot of these some of your competitors and you may have out there is that we have the Chubbs, maybe we have the I'm making these up, the Zurichs, whoever the carriers are. For all loyal listeners, for 100 complete transparency, we here at the Insurance Alliance do not use Tarmika. I believe in the mission of them, and they have been friends of mine, and many. If I sit here and think of my 10 closest friends, I think 80% of them probably use Tarmika, but we don't, and we have our own reasons for the reason we go after loyal listeners. As you know, we go after whales. We're going after $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 accounts. We use 3 or 4 markets to do that. But anyways, the point is that Tarmika, are you guys' mission to get more of those direct markets, to get I'm just going to make them up, the state autos, the people who are the direct markets, or do you already have those and Jason just doesn't know what the hell he's talking about, Chris?
So yes, we do have, we're running right now about 30 carriers on the platform, and that's across workers' comp, GL, professional lines, commercial auto. So the nice thing about this and kind of what we've seen since, really 2019, a little bit more so since 2020. We started off with some nationals, but our pilot group, our beta group, were 2 Massachusetts regional companies. So, April of 2019, Tarmika launches the beta, 10 agencies in Massachusetts with 2, regional carriers. That no one's ever heard of.
Right.
When we brought on a Liberty Mutual, a CNA in, July, August of 19, now it's like, okay, so they have an API. We're using APIs to connect. So now we have 5 carriers on the platform, and still focused on kind of Massachusetts and New England. And we added on a super regional out of the Midwest. And now it's like, okay, where do we go from here? So at the time, it was still just me and Raga prospecting agents. And we started, opening up a little bit more. Like, what can we do in Ohio? Are there any agents in Illinois? So it really kind of opened us up a little bit more. We got connected to a few agencies, some networks here and there, just to kind of kick the idea around. Because we were still in that beta mode, but we had our production release. We're like, yes, this makes sense. Let's push it forward. Kind of a redesign, colors. Alex did a phenomenal job kind of building our brand when she came in October of 19. So we had something now. So now it's like, all right, let's focus and let's start getting this out to the masses. And quickly we found out we were still in that chicken and the egg game. So just like a lot of startups, it's, carriers are like, well, you don't have enough agencies. Agencies you don't have enough carriers. So now it's like, all right, let's kind of refocus here. Let's pick off, let's, target our prospecting to the carriers that are on our platform, and then start checking off. Do they have 2 of these carriers? Do they have 3 of these carriers? And kind of go from there. So, 2019, we had a couple agencies outside of our beta on the group. And then 2020, Raghav and I went to the INA conference down in Phoenix. So all the networks and aggregators come to this, and it was a good point for us to meet some of these folks. We've seen them. We've seen the websites. We've seen all that stuff. Like, oh, we'd love to get in with one of them. And part of it was just making a connection, building the rapport, and just saying like, yeah, we're here. This is our vision. Would love to have a conversation with you if you guys are thinking the same way. And that led us to meeting, Bobby when she was with Grange at that time. That just introduced us to a bigger group of carriers. And from there, we ended the year, ended 2020 with like 12 carriers, 12 new carriers on the platform. We were expecting to have 8. So,
Great.
You were doing something right. The APIs were starting to be developed.
Right.
And then, finishing 2021, I think we're up to, at that point, we're up to like 27 carriers. and now I think we're right at like 32. So we have quite a few
Great.
carriers on the contract currently. We just haven't announced yet.
And are those API connected carriers?
Yes. So that's
Wow.
the cool thing too. We went down with one of our beta carriers. They were doing the robotic processing, and what we found was that, if it's not maintained, if an agent doesn't enter in, the data correctly, it's going to break. So if it can't map directly to it, it's going to break. It's going to error out. Agent's going to get frustrated. Mm-hmm. So it's not a good first impression if, that RPA carrier is your go-to for your agency. So we made that decision to go straight 100% API integrations only. And it's awesome to see the carriers developing these APIs. Even some of the carriers that you never in a million years thought would have an API connection, they're coming out with them, and it's been awesome to see.
All right. I'm sorry. I'm writing this down because I always have to look for titles, and I think that's a good one. Here's the thing that it's easy to sit around and say, why did it take so long for us to figure out that carriers needed to be in one spot for us to be able to give them the business they need, find the ones who have the appetite, everybody being in the picture, just like we did personal lines. But the truth of the matter is the technology was not there with the capabilities of the APIs. Tarmika, with all the money in the world, couldn't do this in 2010, 2015. It just, am I right? I mean, it just couldn't be done. Anybody in the world could. It's amazing how fast this has come, Chris. I mean, it's amazing. This slow-ass, snail-paced industry has now come to where it's like they're snapping up and going, hey. And I think it has to do with a lot. It's just not the channel being younger. Everybody's always like, I'll tell you this, Chris, this is funny. Me and Ryan Hanley were talking about this a couple weeks ago. Everybody's like, I want to let you know, the average age of the agency owner today is someone will say between 58 and 63. I want everybody to know who's listening to this. Back in 2009, 2010, when Hanley and I were first on the scene doing that is exactly what we were told, that it's between 58 and 63. I really think it's a lot older. I just don't think that we realize that. But the point is, the new guard, the 40-year-olds, the 30-year-olds, the 50-year-olds that have come about now have this new mentality. I think it's that way on the carrier side too. And I think it's that way on the vendor side, right? How you said you're 40, right? Raghav is what? How old's Raghav?
He's a baby. He's
29. Oh, okay. Yeah, 29. That's what I'm saying though. And here's the thing, Chris, let me let you in. Okay, I haven't talked. This is where Hanley and I were talking about this smack. You and I are special. Me and you and Hanley, people who are between right now the age of about 38 to 40 for about, let's just say 40, from 40 to about 46 are very unique individuals. Where, see, you were born in 82.
81. Yep.
81. Okay, even better. So they say from those who were born somewhere around 70, 77 to probably around 84, 85, somewhere in there, they call those exennials. Have you heard this?
I have.
So they're exennials, and you and I are in a unique situation. And I think it's important that we put that because how old is Rags? Loyal listeners, Raghav told me I can call him Rags. So that's why I always call him that. But Chris, how old is his business partner, the co-founder?
Geetha, I want to say is maybe 50, I don't want to get in trouble here. 56.
Okay,
57?
You can't say anything. Older than us, you can't say anything. So anyways, see, that's what I'm talking about is this. For so long, when I was first in the industry in 04, 05, I mean, this is where there was this big fight, Chris. It was between the older and the younger, and there was the wisdom, and there was those who were pushing the envelope. And it's taken us 10, 15, 20 years for us to finally realize that meshes together to make a beautiful thing like we're living in right now, right? It's that wisdom that is needed with that. I know there's a huge technology carrier Nope, never mind. I was getting ready to say a secret, and I can't say that. Loyal listeners, you have to talk to me in June. But anyways, there's just a mixture of wisdom happening everywhere in the industry, and I like seeing that. I like seeing this older with this younger, because that younger's pushing the envelope. But we have to also understand the road that has been laid in this insurance industry is a good one. It just needs retiled, right? Reset,
Yes.
and I think that's important.
Yeah, no, I remember back to, some of my, going to some of the state conferences and the Invest program. I mean, even, 2012, 13, 14, 15, it's pushing, getting younger people into insurance. And I do the same thing. I, was connected to the high school in town, helping out with the baseball team there. And now a lot of those kids are, in their senior year of college, starting that job hunt. And I try to tell them all the time, like, look at insurance. It may not be, working for one of the big three accounting firms or, one of these big corporations, but, it gives you the chance to really kind of define yourself too. It's all in what you want to put into it. And I've said that to, our sales reps here. Think of it as your own little small business. You're in your little hut here, but you're doing it for the bigger, broader good. But it's all in what you put into it. So if you want to work, 9 to 5, great. You'll do okay. But if you want to, come in at 7 and work till 5 or prospecting off hours, something like that, you're going to be really successful. And we've been fortunate that everyone that we've hired, outside of the sales team, our customer success, our marketing, kind of our operations of pre-implementation with carriers, post-implementation with carriers, everyone's bought in on this. So everyone's bought in for the greater good of Tarmika and trying to, not change the industry, right? We just want to make agents be a little bit more efficient when it comes to quoting small commercial. It's one of those things that's been, you said it earlier, like, I can't believe we haven't had a small commercial rater where we've had personal lines, which, homeowners is pretty straightforward. But when you get into like the auto, that's comprehensive stuff. I mean, every state is different minimum limits and all that stuff. The bot policy is pretty straightforward. A GL policy is pretty straightforward. It amazes me that it's taken this long to get here. But I mean, there's been others that have tried it in the past, and I think it was just kind of, went too far with it. They tried to include way too much to get the rate, but that goes back to the technology. The technology just wasn't there. So now with carriers developing the APIs, utilizing defaults, utilizing bump rules, things like that, it's made the whole process so much easier.
It really has. It really has. And, back, I remember it was like 06, 07, 08, Zurich came out with this small business thing to where you're going to be able to sit in front of somebody and be able to simply write a policy sitting in front of them, which with their portal at the time and even today, you can. I mean, it's going to be kind of hassle-them and it better be a real clean account. But the fact is that I remember that they made this bill. There was 8.4 billion or a million small businesses and all this. And I think it's, we've always dominated the commercial lines department or sector, just not the small, right? And I think the carriers a long time ago saw the commoditization of that personal lines to say, well, shit, where can we grab a market share? Why not try to grab that small business? But they never really could get it done because of efficiency. And that's where I believe that Tarmika has been absolutely essential. But it's just not so much like trying to compare Tarmika to Easy Links or to PL Rater is like night and day. Yes, you put the information in there and it goes and achieves rates. But as you said, it's more about the data. It's about giving you the education of where maybe be the best place for this piece of business and the business you right here, the carriers that would match to it. Am I right? That's the beauty.
Yeah, no, spot on. I mean, it's cool too to see the variety of APIs that are coming through. Your national carriers, your regional carriers, all a little bit different. The cool thing is and I love this just as an insurance person, when a quote comes back and there's underwriting information in there. So, hey, we determined that you're 1,200 feet from the coast. This is a referral, or the decline's coming through, or, vacancy, things like that. So the carrier's reporting that back to us now too, which is, again, just creating that efficiency for the agent to say, all right, I got my decline. I got my 3 declines. Let's go to E&S. Let's go where we need to go. And, kind of shameless plug here, but we've now incorporated the E&S feature into Tarmika too. So, if you're quoting, that business classification, you're going to get your declines. When you're selecting your carriers, you can actually toggle over to the E&S tab, and we'll have some options in there. We have one carrier currently in there for a couple industry types, and we'll have another one coming.
That's very valuable. That is very valuable to even us. Yes.
Yeah. So there'll be another carrier coming in the next couple weeks on that. We haven't made any announcement yet, but we will, relatively soon. So now we're giving, I hate to say forcing, but we're keeping that agent in the one instance. So you don't need to go somewhere else to do your E&S quoting. You can do it in our platform.
Oh, that's beautiful. And so you guys, when listening to this, hey, maybe do they have that yet? Because I don't know when this comes out. Today it's May 3rd, as Chris is saying this. So if you can check that out, because I imagine, Chris, it's probably like June or July when they're hearing this. So I have no idea. So anyways, that's good stuff, Chris. I'm really, really glad to hear that when it comes to Tarmika and what you guys are doing. What can agents do to help Tarmika out? Is there anything that they can do? Can they talk to their carriers? What if they're a Tarmika user and they're listening to this? What if they want to get involved with Tarmika because they believe in that? What can they do to help you?
Yeah, so from an agent perspective, if they're on our platform, and our customer success team does a good job gathering feedback. And, a lot of it is enhancement based. So, when are you going to have this product? When are you going to have that product? If you have a carrier that you're writing that, professional lines with, the management policies, just shoot a note to your local rep. We're happy to do a demo for them. And then, thankfully that leads to a broader conversation, usually with some decision makers. And then, that's really the big one. And then, any prospective agents can go to tarmika.com and click on book a demo, and they'll talk to either Heather or Bobby, and hopefully join the platform. They see a value in it.
Like I said, a lot of people that I know use it do. And it's amazing because there was you had about 2 solid competitors in 2020, and you have them now, but you don't really hear them much anymore. You hear about you guys, and I believe your guys' dedication to APIs and rather than the RPA, which I believe RPA is going to be something that is going to be something I think a majority of agents are going to get used to in the future. But maybe not so much with the carrier connection like you're talking about. I think that there's things that RPAs can do inside of agencies to match downloads and things internally inside of an agency. Not so much of what you were talking about, trying to put a Band-Aid on create an API, right? So I get you there, but
for rating, carriers change their underwriting questions consistently. There's something with the rating that changes. They're adding new class codes. The maintenance on it's tough, and if you don't do it accurately, it's going to fail. But RPA certainly serves its purpose with what you said. With downloads and even accounting formats, things like that. Calculating commissions. RPA definitely has a place. In the insurance ecosystem. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, InsurTech has came into our lives and helped us with sales, new business, right? Mm-hmm. Quoting, this type of stuff. InsurTech 2.0 is going to help us with after the sales. It's going to help us with the service. It's going to help us with the renewal process. It's going to help us in ways that we're not seeing and we weren't expecting 5 years ago for where it's helped us now. I believe that's when RPA really becomes huge, because there's things that are done inside of an agency that, believe it or not, even a VA shouldn't be doing. Right? Think about that. We get licensed staff and then we go to unlicensed staff, which are usually VEs, VAs, virtual employees. And now there's
Yes.
actually work they shouldn't be doing because it's so repetitive. And I believe that's where you start to come in with that RPA. Now, how do you bring that into a product, right? How do you plug that in to where it all makes sense and is easy, and I pay $300 a month and people set up my bots for me and do it? How they scale that, that's InsurTech 2.0, but that's where I see that we're going. Because after a while, I mean, there's, all you rating companies, if there's 10 of you right now, you guys are all going to eat each other up, and there's going to be two. I mean, that's just how it is. iPhone, a Droid, Easy Links, PL Raider, I mean, everything, black, white, well, I mean, it's just how it is.
Yeah,
So I see that coming. Go ahead.
I mean, everybody in the space does something different. You know, everyone's got a good trade. I mean, we're not for everyone either.
Well
I've
said.
always stressed this, that agents should do their homework when they're looking at any product. I mean, just like you would if you were buying a TV, right? What's the best bang for your buck, or what's going to make you the most efficient. And the same thing comes here. I think any insurtech product, whether it be rating, whether it be management system, CRM, whatever it is,
Amen to
look at
that.
what can Tarmika connect to. Go down that route.
I agree.
Make your agency the most efficient for what you're willing to spend.
Chris, thank you very much. Tell Rags I said, hey, I appreciate you
Will
guys for
do.
everything you do for the independent insurance industry. You guys are pushing it forward. It's companies like you. It's companies like Glovebox. It's companies that rely on these APIs that are in there beating up these companies, and you don't even have to beat them up anymore. I think the companies are just seeing it, right? It just has to do probably with how fast can we get to develop this. I think something a lot of independent agents don't know, and it's fine you don't know that, is when we say that they have an API, there's hundreds of APIs. So there's an API for servicing and for billing and for every possible thing they do. So it's just not like, hey, I heard one guy say, how hard could it be just to build an API between a carrier and a vendor? Well, it's just not one, right? And
Right.
everybody's got to be on the same page. So, Chris, thank you very much for what you guys do, dude. I greatly appreciate it. You guys are leading the pack. You're kicking ass.
Hey, my pleasure. I really appreciate this, Jason.
No problem. Thanks for being a partner of Agency Intelligence as well. All you
Yeah.
loyal listeners, you know what I do because I do it for you. Tell me your thoughts, tell me your ideas, and I'm going to tell the world what you have to say. This has been Cass. He's Lane. He is a Coors drinker, and that means he's unique and cool. See you later, loyal listeners.